My name is Roberta Ward-Smiley and Smiley, but I also go by the name, my chosen name, as Ra-Hutihe, which is an Egyptian word meaning life force energy, Ra. Huti is to measure or direct the energy, and He is eternal. So it's actually energy being directed eternally. And I'm the CEO and founder of the La Reserva Forest Foundation, and we were founded in 2005. And we're dedicated to restoring the world's native tropical forests. Our mission is we plant trees by, we restore native tropical forests by planting trees, educating people, inspiring donors, and working with public and private landowners. You give me an opportunity to talk about how it came about from the most important part, the spiritual part of it. Is why I'm doing this now. In 2002, my husband and I suffered a great financial loss. Most of my family was gone, and I came into a time when I was absolutely and completely desperate as far as what was I going to do? How was I going to live? We have our reserve here used to be a farm, and we had quit the farming to let the land grow back for us. And just within a year after getting rid of the animals, I noticed so many birds everywhere. And I took an interest and started going out into the forest every day and trying to identify all the different birds, which after 4 years of sitting out there, I ended up with 160 species just here on our place. So, but in 2002, I was doing this at the time. But when this financial crisis hit, I felt like I didn't know what was going to happen. And it was amazing because a friend came back from the United States at that time and said, Roberta, I found this book, and as soon as I saw it on the shelf, I thought of you. And he brought me this book, and it was called Opening to Spirit, like Paradise Shola Aru, and it was all about the chakras. So I started reading the book, and I started practicing all the little things in there. They're very small meditation exercises that began with the root chakra, and I drew them, and I started doing some yoga, but I was in such terrible shape. Health-wise, my husband and I had been sick for many years. So I could only do just a little bit, like one exercise, one time to begin with. But as I went along, I started adding more and more. I did breathing exercises, and I stuck with the meditation and the chakra work. And then in the back of the book, I really resonated with the ancient Egyptian gods and goddesses, and that whole way. And in the back of the book, in the bibliography, I found a book called The Metu Neter by Ra'un Nefer Amen. But when I got this book, I ordered it, and I began reading the first 2 volumes. And in the second volume, there's a step-by-step initiation. I'd continued with my meditation, but I felt like I was stagnating with the Buddhist or Indian type of meditation that I was practicing. And as soon as I got into this initiation and began the real inner work, of finding out why we react to things, why we live the way we do, why we respond emotionally to things that others say or different situations in our life. And it really blew my mind to realize that everything that I was reacting to had to do with some really silly thing that had happened to me earlier in my life, all the way back to the day I was born, or even in another life before that. So right away, that made me aware of why. And I began working on the emotions, like anger, frustration, whatever. When those emotions would come, I'd see them, and I could ignore them and go on as if they weren't there. And after a while, it becomes like it just happens naturally. So you leave all that behind, right? And I realized after sitting in the forest for all those years and watching, all I did was watch birds and insects and trees. And of course, I don't know if you've seen the picture of Papa Loco. He's the 400-year-old tree here at the reserve. And that tree was my huge inspiration. I would stand by the tree with my back to it and just feel the energy, you know, going up and down the tree, and then try to align my own energy with that and become a tree that's just rooted in the ground, standing with my arms in heaven, you know. And it brought to me that everything here is love. The air we breathe, every breath we take, we breathe in love. And every breath that we put back out, if we're pure, is love for the world. And I noticed that all the animals and insects, everything except us, they're not worried about all the things that we're worried about. Politics, the next door neighbor. They're not doing it. All they're doing is living. Surviving. They're worried to eat. They worry to mate. They make their home every day. And they live in joy. And that, more than anything, being out there taught me what all the universe is about. And then I go inside and realize that each of us are just a microcosm of the universe. That actually the whole universe resides within each of us. And that we can go inside there and actually that universe, we're the God of that universe. And we have control of everything within there. So we can make our universe happy, or we can make our universe miserable and suffer. But it's all up to us. And it's just a way of seeing, if you can go in within, it's a way of seeing the whole universe and the real simplicity of it. That there is no God that's an old man sitting in heaven. God's right here. And everything we do, at each of us is God. We're all just part of this wholeness that's creating. We are the creation, every single piece. That's why it's so important to me to be very conscious of everything I do, to not cause any type of negative reaction in the world. Because every small thing that you do affects one other thing. And that after that one other thing, it affects 2, 3, until it goes all the way, millions of people around the world. And they call it the butterfly effect, but it's very true.
Beautiful.